I, female 28, have been seeing my boyfriend 30 for slightly over a year now. He has 2 kids, a female tween and a male pre-tween, from his past relationship and has them every other weekend. We don't live together. He shares an apartment with his brother, and I live alone in the apartment I own. I don't like people in my space, and kids even less so. My home is my sanctuary. Recently, my boyfriend asked if he could move in with me. He's usually a chill guy, and I was considering it, but I decided against it since he is a dad, and wherever his home is, his kids would have a right to it too. I don't want kids messing up my home. I told him no, but he started begging, saying how his brother wants to move his girlfriend in. They want him out, and he can't afford an apartment by himself. He went ahead saying since I own my apartment, he could save up on rent as well. I stood stern on my decision and told him while I understood his situation, I didn't want to open my home to kids. He tried saying how it's just 4 to 6 days a month, and he'll make sure they behave. I refused to relent, and now he's calling me an idiot because of whom he'll lose custody. If he can't find a good home, his ex will sue him. Am I the idiot for not letting my boyfriend move in because I don't want kids in my space and may cause him to lose custody? Edit. It's not a serious relationship. At least I never considered it to be. He stays over 2 to 3 nights a week at most. We never talked about commitment, long-term or moving in before. In the beginning, I had told him I didn't want anything serious, and he had casual. I am not child-free. I do hang out with kids. I have nieces and nephews I babysit at their homes or take out for fun. I haven't met my boyfriend's kids because he said we weren't serious, and he didn't want to bring random people into the kids' lives. I accepted that because we aren't serious. This asking to move in was out of the blue. I don't want kids in my apartment because kids tend to be destructive and make a lot of noise. I've seen what his kids have done to the apartment he shares with his brother. They've legit broken a Mac laptop of his. If they were teens or better behaved, I might have considered more. So he wants to move in and not pay rent because you own your apartment, so he can save on rent? That would be a red flag for me and an absolute no-no. Not the idiot, since you both agreed you're not serious. He's in trouble, and you are the easy way out of his financial problems. Do not let this dude move in. Yeah, this guy is, reading between the lines, broke as heck. He will be leeching off her. He's calling me an idiot because of whom he'll lose custody? I'd wash my hands of him after he said that. If he loses custody, it'll be because he's not financially stable enough to afford his own place. It's not OP's role as the casual girlfriend who has never even met the children to provide him and his kids a stable home. Also, he said that he intends to save enough money to move out, which shows he sees moving in as a convenience, not something he wants to do to take a step forward in his relationship with OP. Right? This is the thing to focus on. This man has children. He knows what he has to do to retain custody of them, and he somehow failed to plan beyond. I'll sponge off the person who's been very clear for a year that she does not care for children in our home. Andy thinks a successful plan to sponge off of the OP is to insult her until she gives in? $10 says living with a brother was only supposed to be temporary until this guy got on his feet financially. This dude is a mess. The OP needs to say, "It's been fun, but it's clear we want different things. Good luck." My husband and I were arguing about paternity testing after reading lots of Reddit stories about it. He said that men should be able to get it without judgment, and I said that women should be trusted in a committed relationship. I told him that if he wanted a DNA test, then we shouldn't have kids. He came back to me with a blank page and told me to sign it. I asked him why, and he said to me that he wants it. I told him that I would never sign a blank paper. He asked me whether I thought he would use it for bad things or ever harm me. I said, no, I don't. Then he told me I shouldn't worry, sign it and trust him. Then he said he wouldn't ask for a DNA test because he trusted me, but I should also show my trust and sign on the blank paper. He said he wouldn't have kids with me unless I did it. It's stupid. They're not equivalent, and no one should sign a blank paper. That's the first thing we're taught. He just told me to trust him and sign it. He says he needs to know his wife trusts him completely before he can have children. I can't explain my viewpoint properly. He feels he got me. Am I wrong here? Please don't have children together. The fact that you're arguing over DNA or signing a blank piece of paper clearly indicates that your relationship has trust issues. Just the tip of the iceberg. Get professional help. There are issues between you two that need to be worked out. I mean, I wouldn't sign a blank piece of paper either. I'm a consultant, and one of my clients gave me the signature page of a contract and asked me to sign it. Just a massive red flag. It turns out they were just incompetent, but it is unreasonable to ask someone to do this. OP's husband is a bully and a manipulator. Seems pretty clear he's trying to forge your signature on some idiotic contract. Lady, this guy's not going to change. I disagree. Like, what the heck are you honestly afraid of with your signature on a blank piece of paper? This entire argument is stupid AF. OP is a moron. Not only did she completely miss the point of this argument, but she also thinks her signature on a blank piece of paper is a powerful weapon. Signing a literal blank piece of paper is of no legal consequence. If someone uses your signature to attach a document without your approval, that's fraud. I agree. In terms of an analogy, he's got a point. You don't trust him. Not enough to hand over that kind of carte blanche and trust him not to use it against you. You're saying you think he might be the sort of monster that would betray you after all, yet you expect him to hand over 20 years of raising a kid that might not be his, and you get butthurt that he's showing you to prove a point that he trusts you only as much as you trust him, which is well short of 100%. I, 28 female, really struggled as a teenager. I lost my mother suddenly when I was 14, and that affected my mental health. I became very introverted and left school with no real friends. I was teased a lot for various reasons, but mostly because I was sulky and never had new things. I had the same pencil case, coat, and bag from 12 through 18. To make matters worse, I had a form teacher, I think that's like homeroom in America, who was always trying to be friends with the popular kids, and therefore joined in on teasing me for my appearance and demeanor, and just generally made me feel awful about myself. Having few childhood friends, I was always really close to my father, 53. That started to shift as I grew up. I've since moved away and have 2 sons. I've seen my father twice since 2020, and he visited to see my sons on both occasions. Despite this, we talk and FaceTime multiple times weekly, and he tells me about his dog and his life. I know he's been seeing someone since late 2021, and she and her 2 sons recently moved in with him, but I hadn't met her. In a terrible turn of events, I ran into my father at a supermarket, nowhere near where I live. We were visiting my partner's family, and my father happened to be there to drive his partner's son to a rugby match, and found out that his partner is the teacher that encouraged the class to bully me in school. Since then, she's been divorced, so her surname is different. I never knew her first name, so I had no way of knowing this was her. To say I was mortified is an understatement. I don't think she recognized me, but it was very awkward, mostly on my end. She spent most of the time fussing with her keys, but she's living in my father's house with pictures of me as a child, so I imagine she must know who I am by now, if she remembers me. My father's trying to arrange a big Christmas get-together for our family. Since we've not spent Christmas with him since 2019, he's desperate for me and my sons to be there, but I have no interest in spending any time with this woman. I've explained to him multiple times why, but he thinks my sons and I will love her if we get to know her. But to me, this is an adult who made an already difficult part of my life even worse to impress a group of 14-year-olds. My partner supports my decision not to attend, but I can tell it hurts my father. I know this might be stupid or immature, that it has been 10 years since I saw her last, and I could make small talk for my father's sake, but I also know that I'll just be uncomfortable the entire time. I had hoped never to see this woman again, and now she's living with my father? I know I should probably grow up and make peace with it, but whenever I think about seeing her, I just remember how awful she made me feel for 4 years as a grieving teenager. My father says not to dwell on the past, but I just don't think this is something I can forgive. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She knows who you are. She's recognized you. Your father would have told her all about you. I wouldn't let her around my children either, and I wouldn't be uncomfortable at dinner for the sake of your father. You did that for 4 years, and he wants you to do it for 20 plus more? I agree. Her fumbling with the keys to get away wasn't a coincidence. I can't imagine if she didn't know who you were and realized this was the first time to meet and make a good impression on her partner's daughter that she wouldn't have made more of an introduction of herself to you. She was avoiding you because of what she did and didn't want to face you. Guilty conscience. Really, I can't see a way past this to heal without starting with an apology from her, an acknowledgement of the hurt her role caused you. I also feel like your dad has been, and continues to be, negligent of your feelings, both back then and now. If you want to have a relationship with your father, see and talk to him on your terms and location. If that doesn't work for you, cut him out of your life. You should make peace with it for yourself. You don't need to make peace with her, or see her, or pretend it's all okay. OP, you are wrong about one thing, though. I know I should probably grow up and make peace with it. As a grown woman, you are making your boundaries clear. This is the right behavior. Just because your dad decided to have your bully in your life doesn't mean you must follow his lead. You are a separate person from him. Also, how can you know she won't bully your kids now? Or that she won't keep treating you the same? You can't. That's not a safe place for your family. Your dad is picking his pleasure over you. Move on without him. I, 43 female, and my ex, 46 male, Joe, have Molly, 18 female, together. I also have Josh, teen male, from another relationship. Long story. Joe and I divorced 8 years ago. Joe is remarried and has a kid with his new wife, a young toddler. Today, Josh had to be in an activity for several hours, and all kids under 18 had to have an adult present. I didn't sleep well last night and had a headache today, so I told Molly that she needed to take Josh because he couldn't go otherwise. Molly initially refused and told me to ask her grandparents, my parents, but they had just returned from an out-of-state trip and were tired from traveling. I didn't have anyone else to ask and ended up telling Molly she takes Josh or he doesn't go to Joe's kid's birthday party. Molly finally agreed to take Josh. I guess Molly called Joe and told him she couldn't come to the kid's birthday party because I forced her to take Josh to his activity, which was planned out way in advance. Joe called and went off on me for making Molly miss the party, saying that I was being manipulative and should have taken an Advil, sucked it up, and took Josh or found someone else to take him. I tried explaining to Joe that I had a headache and it was too last minute to find anyone else, so Molly was my only option. If she didn't do it, Josh would have had to miss out on something he's been looking forward to for a long time. Joe had some choice words for me and hung up. Later, when I told Molly her dad was unreasonably upset over her missing a baby's party, Molly sided with Joe, and that surprised me. Now I'm wondering if maybe I was in the wrong. You are the idiot. Molly and Joe are right. Josh is not Molly's responsibility. He's yours. Period. So is Josh an affair baby? Ah, classic long story. But then the story is just, I cheated. Oh, that's right. Considering Josh was born when she was still married to Joe, but Joe isn't his dad? Good catch. OP, you put the burden of being a parent on your teenage daughter. Did you ask your parents? Did you take any medication? What activity was it? Was there no one else you knew that could have watched him? She's 18. She could be moving out or going to college. What are you going to do then? Was this headache or migraine level? Like, you could have tried to suck it up. Yeah, who gets to stop being a parent because they have a headache? I'm having a raging headache, because my daughter's teething at the moment. Imagine if I looked at her and said, "Too bad, mommy has a headache." Both your children had obligations. It was your job to do what you could, so both children could make their commitments. It sounds like you didn't even ask your parents or try another option. It also sounds like you either value your son's commitments over your daughter's, or you intentionally want to sabotage your daughter's relationship with her father and her sibling. Neither is a good look. I'm sure Molly was also looking forward to this party, but oh no, Josh couldn't miss what he was looking forward to. My sister, Bella, 35 female, has 3 kids. Allie, a teen female, Katie, a young teen female, and Jasmine, a kindergartner female. A year ago, Bella got engaged to a man, Henry, 36, with 2 sons, Zach, a teen, and Xavier, a toddler. Katie and Allie were unhappy about this. They don't like Zach or want to live with a baby. Since their parents got married in a few months, both girls have had to babysit Xavier and Jasmine at least once, each on their own and together. Allie is mad at Bella and makes that clear. Bella grounded Allie for being disrespectful to them. Allie's only been harsh because she's unhappy about these people living with her. She also refuses to take a nice photo with Zach. Katie has also expressed that she's unhappy with them, but she's meek and does what she's told, so her mom is fine with it. Bella says they just have to get used to it. She thought I'd take her side, but I told her she was selfish for bringing these boys into her daughter's home against their will, and she should have either not gotten married or waited until they moved out. Now Bella will not let me talk to her kids. Am I the idiot? Edit. Marriage wasn't the rush, according to Bella. They loved each other and just had to do it quickly. They dated for about a month, and the kids met less than a month before the wedding. Xavier's mom is some girl in jail. He had her pregnant soon before they were all getting married. And no, he doesn't babysit his own kids. Why on earth did your sister marry this man? Like, what in the world? This woman got engaged when this man got another woman pregnant? You say they were engaged for 1 month? This woman's not acting like a mother responsible for her 2 children. She's making poor decisions. Of course her children don't like it. Their mother is moving fast with a man, and now their lives are thrown upside down, and there's a baby in the mix. It seems like a quick turnaround from getting some girl pregnant and dating OP's sister, then on to marriage, and the dude doesn't have to babysit. I think Henry needed a replacement mom/babysitter ASAP. OP, you are not the idiot. This is a huge change for her kids and more responsibility for them. And their mom seems to have the attitude of, they should suffer so I can be happy, without acknowledging her daughter's complaints. Guess who isn't going to be involved in her kids' lives once they can get out? OMG, your sister will probably be facing a world of legal and financial troubles because she literally cannot know who this man and his kids are that quickly. He could be a narcissist in the love bomb stage and ruin her life. He could be a criminal and get his ex in trouble, hence the jail. No one goes from dating to pregnant to being in jail quickly enough that this timeline makes sense. Boy, is your sister always this naive? She needs a reality check. Be prepared for Allie to show up on your doorstep.